Good morning, Cleveland and Columbus sports fans. This is Jenn B, and you are tuned in live to the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Today, we are going to talk about the IESR 11-year anniversary. Congratulations to all of us at IE Sports Radio for making it 11 years, and especially to Larry B, the CEO of IE Sports Radio. We will talk about the Cavs being eliminated from the NBA playoffs. Then we will talk a little bit of hot news. Got a couple of things to talk about with the Blue Jackets and the Monsters. And then we'll talk some baseball with the Cleveland Guardians. And we'll talk some D3 baseball and softball tournament news. We will wrap up the show with some Browns and Crew for the football and the football. So stay right here with me, Jenn B, on the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And I will be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps. for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back to the show of the land with a Jenn B here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Be sure to check out our wonderful sponsors, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. It is on a whole other planet, and I concur with this. I have tried it. It is very, very good. Head on over to planetjerky.net to place your orders today. Vital Apparel, you can head on over to vtlapparel.com to place your orders for their comfortable and inspiring workout wear. And use code IESR to get 15% off your order. Seal the Deal Wax Seals, the perfect finish to your letters, invitations, and gifts. Head on over to iesportsradio.com/seal the deal wax seals to check them out and place your orders today. And of course, we wouldn't be here without IE Sports Radio. Be sure to follow us on all of the socials and hit that like and subscribe button here on YouTube. You can follow me on X at Show of the Land IE and at Believe Land Girl. You can catch me on most of the socials at Believe Land Girl as well. Shout out to Brian in the chat. He says, good morning. Brian is the host of the Beantown Sports Pound for all of your Boston sports needs. So check out his show. Before we get into the Cleveland and Columbus sports, shout out to IE Sports Radio. It is our 11-year anniversary. IE Sports Radio has been on the airwaves for 11 years. Congratulations to all of my IE Sports Radio family, and especially Larry B, the CEO and founder of IE Sports Radio. In celebration, we're going to talk about the best players in the Cleveland and Columbus sports arenas to wear the number 11. So we're going to start first with the Cavs. And this was an easy one. Zydrunas Ilgauskas. And I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's been a really long time since he's played, and I have not been hearing it on the TV. So we just called him Z. That was it. Just called him Z. He played for the Cleveland Cavaliers from 1996 through 2010. He left for Miami in 2010 and finished out his career there for one season. During his playing career, he played in 843 games. He had a 47.6 field goal percentage, a 31% three-point percentage, 78% free throw percentage, and averaged about 13 points per game, 1.6 blocks, 1.1 assists, and 7.3 rebounds. So not bad. And Z's number 11 was retired by the Cleveland Cavaliers on March 8th, 2014, and currently resides in the rafters at Rocket Arena. For the Blue Jackets, this was not as easy because there's only been a couple. But I went with Kevin Dineen, who played for the Blue Jackets from 2001 to 2003. The only others were Adam Fantilli, who wore it for one season last year, and then he changed his number to 19 this past season. And I'm drawing a blank on his name, but one of the new guys that the Blue Jackets got this past season, he wore number 11 this year. And I don't know why. I can see his name, but I can't get it to come out of my mouth. If it comes back to me, I'll mention it. But I went with Kevin Dineen as the best player for the Blue Jackets to wear number 11. Guardians, this one was also easy. None other than Jose Ramirez. I need not say any more about him because everybody knows who Jose Ramirez is. For Ohio State, Antoine Winfield. He played both sides of the ball, was the Thorpe Trophy winner, and played for the Buckeyes from 1995 to 1998. For the Browns, this also was not all that easy because there haven't actually been a whole lot of guys to wear number 11 for the Browns. But Travis Benjamin, it is. He was a wide receiver and kick returner for the Browns from 2012 to 2015. And last but not least, for the Columbus Crew, Aiden Morris, midfielder, who we dearly miss this season. He has moved on to play in the European leagues, but he was present for Hell is Real last night to cheer on his former teammates. But man, do we miss him in the midfield. He was like the enforcer. Like he protected the ball so well and was very good at getting the ball back when the Crew lost it and things of that nature. But let's get into the sports. We'll start out with the bad news and then we'll move on to some more exciting stuff. Cleveland Cavaliers finished out the series against the Indiana Pacers terribly. Game 4 on Sunday, they lost 129 to 109. It was a sloppy first half for the Cavs. They were down by 41 at the half. And Darius Garland led the team with 21 points. Donovan Mitchell did go out in that game with a ankle injury, and it just was awful from beginning to end. Game 5 was Tuesday, and the Cavs came out hot in the first half, but lost 114 to 105, thus being eliminated from the playoffs. They blew a 19-point lead in the first half. Donovan Mitchell led the team with 34 points. Evan Mobley recorded a double-double with 24 points and 11 rebounds. So what's next for the Cavs? So they have a few free agents. Ty Jerome, Sam Merrill, Javonte Green, and Tristan Thompson are all outright free agents. Luke Travers and Amoni Bates are restricted free agents, and Chuma Okike has a team option. So I doubt they pick up that team option because Okike did not play at all since he joined the Cavs. But maybe that was the plan all along. So maybe they will pick up the team option. I don't know. But he did not play at all throughout the playoffs or in any of the regular season games that I recall. He may have come in garbage time, but other than that, he did not make much of an impact. I don't expect that they will re-sign Javonte Green. He also did not make much of an impact. I would not be surprised if they re-signed Tristan Thompson if he does not retire, just so he can stay in Cleveland until he is ready to retire. But that will also depend on if they have the roster spot for him. So I expect if they re-sign Tristan Thompson, it will be late in the offseason, possibly even into training camp preseason before they re-sign Tristan Thompson. Sam Merrill and Ty Jerome, I don't know. With the way Ty Jerome played in the playoffs, I don't know that they're willing to spend the money on him to keep him around, but we shall see. And Sam Merrill is a great bench piece. So I don't think he'll command a whole lot of money. So I would not be surprised to see them re-sign Sam Merrill. But Ty Jerome, if you had asked me the day the season ended, I would have said, hell yeah, they need to do whatever possible to re-sign Ty Jerome. But now, after seeing how he performed in the playoffs, not so sure. So re-signing Ty Jerome would most likely put them into the luxury tax. So I don't know that they would be willing to do that for him, given how he performed in the playoffs. Shout out to Taryn Rodriguez, who has jumped in the chat. He says, hope you're having an amazing show. And sorry about the Cavs. Thanks, Taryn. I mean, it is what it is. Unfortunately, the team we saw during the regular season was not the team we saw against the Indiana Pacers. But Taryn is the host of Set Point, our volleyball show. You can catch that show on Mondays. And he is the host of the SoCal Supreme Sports Show for all of your Southern California sports needs. You can catch that show on Fridays. He is also co-host of Three and Out, our football show with Larry B, which you can catch on Saturdays during the football season and off season. Not like the off season, but playoffs, draft, stuff like that. All right, let's move on to some better news because the Cavs are just sad and I don't want to talk about them anymore right now. We'll get more into them as we get closer to the NBA draft. The Cavs do not have a first round pick, so there's won't be much to talk about in the NBA draft either, but we'll see what the Cavs are doing. I'm sure they'll make something. We'll see. Anyway, Blue Jackets news. The Blue Jackets assigned 2023 7th round pick forward Oiva Keskinen, hopefully I'm saying that right, to a 3-year entry-level contract. He played in Finland last season, playing 59 games, and he scored 15 goals, had 20 assists for 35 points. So congratulations to Oiva. And since he is from Finland, I'm probably not pronouncing that right because Finland. I need say no more. Finland. Them names. They are hard to pronounce for us Americans. Now for the Monsters, just one bit of news with the Monsters. Stefan Matteau, the captain last season, has announced his retirement after 13 years of playing hockey. So we wish all the best to Stefan as he embarks on whatever is next for him. That is going to wrap up the basketball and the hockey for today. I am going to take a short break, and when I come back, we will talk some baseball. Much better news in baseball. Like, you know, maybe a win or two, right? So stay right here with me, Jenn B, on the show of the land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And I'll be right back after this.
What's up, New York? This is Ricky K coming at you at the NY State of Sports, a new show here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Listen to me every Thursday afternoon as we bring you the latest takes on the Yankees, Mets, Jets, Giants, Knicks, Nets, Rangers, Devils, and Islanders. Plus, you get some college hoops and what's the local sports events going on in the area. It's a state that never sleeps, so why not get the opinions and sports takes that never sleep? Again, every Thursday, 2 p.m. to the NY State of Sports. We'll see you then.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Big Mike from Indie Sports Nation. Come hang out with me each and every Friday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, where we talk things Indiana sports. We talk Colts, Pacers, Fever, Indy Ignite, and we dive into the college scene as well. Boilermakers, Hoosiers, Irish, Bulldogs, and every school in between. And we don't stop there. We'll sprinkle in some NHRA and cover the IndyCar series. From the turf to the hardwood to the track, we got you covered. Come hang out with your boy, Big Mike, each and every Friday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Indie Sports Nation, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back to the show of the land with Jenn B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Be sure to check out those shows. New York State of Sports with Ricky K. You can catch him on Fridays. And Indie Sports Nation with a Chill Mike. You can also catch him on Fridays. And actually, the reason I played those two, the two of them will be doing a collab show tonight to talk about the Eastern Conference Finals between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. So be sure to check that out later today. Now for some baseball. The Cleveland Guardians. Sunday, they finished out their series against the Philadelphia Phillies with a loss 3-0. Starting pitcher was Luis Ortiz. He pitched 6 innings, had 9 strikeouts, 2 walks, and 1 earned run. Jose Ramirez moved into third place in franchise history in stolen bases behind only Omar Vizquel and Kenny Lofton. 2 speedsters from back in my childhood. Well, teen years, more like. But Funny story. I know I've told this on the show before, but it's been a long time, probably since it was probably like my first show that I told this story. But when I was about 16, I was playing rec league softball, and we went to the then Indians field for a game. We had discounted tickets through the rec league, and we got to walk around the actual field prior to the game. And Omar Vizquel was in the dugout when we walked by. And my best friend was also on my team, and we were walking next to each other, and we were both loved Omar Vizquel. And we started giggling and pointing when we saw him, and he laughed at us. That was like the best day of our lives to that point. We were so excited that Omar Vizquel laughed at us. Omar Vizquel also follows me on social media, which is pretty cool. He follows both the show account and my personal account. So shout out to Omar Vizquel in case he's watching. He was my favorite shortstop to play for the Indians. Good morning to Ralph Calise. He says, Cleveland Rocks, have a great show. Thank you, Ralph. Ralph is the host of the Yinzer Report, and you can catch his show for all of your Pittsburgh sports needs on Fridays as well. Everybody's on Friday. At least everybody in the chat except Brian. Brian is on Wednesdays usually, but this past week he was on Thursday. Back to the Guardians. Lane Thomas started his rehab stint in Columbus this week. David Fry began a rehab stint in Arizona this week. Man, I can't wait to have David Fry back. I'll miss him. I'm not sure where Lane Thomas is going to fit in when he comes back, because the Guardians also recalled outfielder Will Brennan from AAA Columbus and optioned shortstop Brian Rocchio to AAA Columbus. So what does this mean? This means we have a lot of freaking outfielders. And it also means that Gabriel Arias is the everyday shortstop as of right now. I never, ever in a million, trillion, gazillion years thought I would say those words. But here I am saying them. Yikes. I don't like it, honestly, to be honest. He's not quite athletic enough for a shortstop. And he gets a little airy with his throws. So we'll see how long this lasts, but that's where things are as of right now. Brian Rocchio was not hitting, and Gabriel Arias is, so that is probably a big reason for this change. But Gabriel Arias, Brian Rocchio has also had quite a few errors so far this season, but so has Jose Ramirez, and he's not going anywhere. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that pans out. The Guardians then started a series on Monday against the Milwaukee Brewers. They won 5-0 on Monday. Ben Lively was the starting pitcher. He left with an apparent injury in the fourth. It was later announced to be a right forearm inflammation. He went 3 innings, had 1 strikeout and 2 walks. Zach Kent was recalled from AAA Columbus following that game, and Ben Lively was placed on the 15-day IL. So here we go again with the pitching woes. Anyway, Tuesday, Game 2 against the Milwaukee Brewers. The Guardians won 2-0. Logan Allen was the starting pitcher. He went 6 innings, had 6 strikeouts, and 1 walk. Pretty solid outing for Logan Allen and the shutout, so not too shabby at all. Jose Ramirez did have a solo home run in this one in the first inning. The Guardians hired former Indians pitcher Corey Kluber as special assistant to pitching. So that is exciting. If you don't remember, Corey Kluber was the strikeout king here in Cleveland for quite some time. All the posts when he was the starting pitcher were Corey Kluber, because they'd put as many K's to start his first name as he had strikeouts for that game. So hopefully he can help out this pitching squad because they have been on the struggle bus this season. Wednesday, the Guardians finished out the series against the Milwaukee Brewers, going for the sweep, but failed. They lost 9-5. The starting pitcher was Gavin Williams. He went 5 innings, had 6 strikeouts, 1 walk, and 2 earned runs. So once again, the bullpen lost this one. Kyle Manzardo had a solo home run in the 2nd inning, and Jose Ramirez had a 3-run home run in the 8th. So when Gavin Williams left, the Guardians were losing, but only by 1. It was 2-1. And they didn't get the win. So they tried. Man, did they try. They rallied, but just wasn't enough. The bullpen gave up too much. Friday, the Guardians started the Battle of Ohio against the Cincinnati Reds, and it has not been going well. They lost game 1 5-4. Starting pitcher was Tanner Bybee, and he was not pitching well. He went 6 innings, had 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, and gave up 4 earned runs. Bo Naylor had a solo home run in the 5th, and Jose Ramirez had a solo home run in the 8th. The Guardians then activated pitcher Slade Ciccone from the IL. He was acquired in the trade with the Arizona Diamondbacks for Josh Naylor, and optioned Zach Kent back to AAA Columbus. That poor Zach, I'm telling you, that poor kid has been up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. Hopefully he'll find his spot. But Saturday, the Guardians played the Reds once again, losing 4-1. Slade Ciccone got the start and actually didn't do too poorly, though he did give up 3 earned runs. He went 5 innings and had 8 strikeouts and 0 walks. So not bad for his first outing with the Guardians and his first start with his first start this season. So what's next for the Guardians? They will finish out the series against Cincinnati this afternoon and hopefully ruin the sweep for Cincinnati. Then Monday through Wednesday, they will play the Minnesota Twins. Thursday through Sunday, the Detroit Tigers. Yikes. It's gonna be a rough week for the Guardians. 2 divisional opponents, one of whom is the best team in baseball right now. Eek. I mean, we've already played the Twins, so I'm not as concerned with the Twins, though they are getting hot right now. But the Tigers scare me. So we'll see how the Guardians fare. But yeah, that's ugly. So we're not going to talk minor league baseball today. We will get into that a little bit more next week. Today, we're going to talk some college baseball and softball. The D3 baseball tournament and softball tournaments are underway, and we have quite a few teams in the region who made it into the tournament. So for baseball, Denison, Ohio Northern, Baldwin Wallace, and Mount Union all made it into the tournament. Denison played Manchester on Friday, winning 8-2. And then Saturday, they played Keystone and won 10-4, advancing to the next round. Today at 11 a.m., so right now they're playing Keystone in the regional finals. Ohio Northern, not so lucky. They played Washington U and lost 10-9 on Friday, and then played Adrian, which is in Michigan. I actually went there for a year after high school. And they lost 13-9 and were eliminated from the tournament. Baldwin Wallace played Ramapo on Friday and won 19-7. Then Saturday they played Salisbury and lost 15-5. Then they played an elimination game also on Saturday against Ramapo and won 4-3, advancing to the regional semifinals. And they are also playing right now against Salisbury. So hopefully they can turn around that 15-5 loss and get the win in this one. Mount Union also did not fare as well. They played Catholic, losing 11-10 on Friday. Saturday, they played Grove City, won 10-0. So pretty solid win, but then they had to play Catholic again in an elimination game and lost 10-8 and were eliminated. For the end of season awards, Mount Union head coach Paul Heese was named the OAC Coach of the Year. Ohio Northern pitcher Joe Tootle and Baldwin Wallace pitcher Britt Kostura were named co-OAC Pitchers of the Year, and Muskingum outfielder Toby Teak was named OAC Player of the Year. Interesting that the Player of the Year is on a team that did not make it into the tournament, but that is how it rolled out. Now for the softball tournament, we're going to change to BW colors for this one. Baldwin Wallace and Mount Union both made it into the softball tournament, but sadly, both have been eliminated. They both won their first games on Thursday. Baldwin Wallace beat the University of Wisconsin Eau Claire 13-3, and Mount Union beat Pfeiffer 8-0. Friday, Baldwin Wallace played Trine and lost 9-0. And then in an elimination game later on Friday, they once again played the University of Wisconsin Eau Claire and lost by just one run, 8-7, being eliminated. Mount Union went on to play Salisbury on Friday, losing 5-3, and then an elimination game again against Pfeiffer. They lost also by just one run, 2-1. So we have no teams left in the softball tournament, but we have two teams left in the baseball tournament. So we'll see how they do this week, and we'll talk about that next week. But that is going to wrap up the baseball for today. I am going to take one more short break, and when I come back, we will wrap things up with some football and football with the Cleveland Browns and the Columbus Crew. So stay right here with me, Jenn B, on the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, and I will be right back after this.
Are you a fan of Minnesota sports? Do you love the Vikings and hate the Packers? Are you a fan of the Timberwolves, Twins, Wild, Lynx, St. Paul Saints? Here on the Bold North Breakdown, we'll talk about all of those professional teams as well as all the college teams in the area. That's your basketball teams, football, hockey, volleyball, men's and women's sports alike. We talk about them all. Here on the Bold North Breakdown. Join me, your host, Glenn Ritter, every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central to discuss all that is happening in the Minnesota sports scene. Here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
How we doing, sports fans? This is Christian Harvey, your host of Gritsville, USA, your go-to show for all things Detroit and Michigan here on IE Sports Radio. Whether you're here for Gritty Lions talk, getting pumped up for the great Detroit sports renaissance, or hating on your neighbor depending on if they were green or blue, we got you covered. Whether you're in the East, West, or Central, we got you covered. Join me as we tackle through all that the great state of Michigan has to offer in the world of sports. Catch me, Christian Harvey, each week on Gritsville, USA, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back to the show of the land here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Be sure to check out the Bold North breakdown with Glenn Ritter on Thursdays for your Minnesota sports needs, and Gritsville, USA with Christian Harvey for your Michigan sports needs. Also, usually on Thursdays, but sometimes it changes. It was on Saturday this week, but usually it's on Thursdays. Let's talk some football. So, following rookie minicamp, the Browns made some signings and some waivers. They signed safety Rayshon Jenkins, safety DeMonte Kazi, wide receiver Luke Floria, wide receiver Keyshawn Johnson, and wide receiver Cade McDonald. Now, I am very excited about Luke Floria. He played for the Kent State Golden Eagles. I almost said Golden Knights, but that is not Kent State. Golden Flashes. Sorry, not Golden Eagles. Golden Flashes. Jeez. The Kent State Golden Flashes. And we watched some of his tape because I was telling my husband about him because I saw some video on Twitter from rookie minicamp of some pretty spectacular catches that he made during rookie minicamp. And I told him that the Browns went ahead and signed him. And he was like, all right, let me see if I can find some tape on him. I said, well, he played for Kent State. The games are televised, so I'm sure there's tape. But we watched some of his tape, and he can play football. He is pretty solid wide receiver, which is surprising coming from Kent State, who absolutely sucked this last season. But he did not. He did not at all. He played very well, had quite a few really nice catches. Of course, it was highlight tapes, so don't really see what he maybe did wrong, but he had some good highlights. Solid 15 minutes of highlights, so that's pretty good for Kent State. Jenkins is solid. He played for the Chargers and put up some solid numbers. Safety, Rayshon Jenkins. Thank you for that info, Taryn. I haven't had a chance to look too far into these guys that they signed just yet, but that is good to know. I appreciate it because we definitely need some safety depth here in Cleveland. They also waived safety Trey Dean, defensive end Marcus Haynes, wide receiver Jaseem Reed with an injury designation, and fullback Eli Wilson. So nothing too shocking there. Not surprised that they signed a few wide receivers because our wide receiver depth is not great. And you need camp bodies. So we'll see if any of these three wide receivers that they signed, Luke Floria, Keyshawn Johnson, and Cade McDonald, make any kind of impact. I really do hope that Luke Floria makes the team because that would be pretty cool to have a guy from Kent State playing for the Browns. The last time a guy from Kent State played for the Browns, you might remember him. His name was Josh Cribbs. You might remember that guy for the Cleveland Browns. So, we'll see. We'll see what this kid can do. He is very small but sturdy. He is about 5'8", but he has a very solid build. He's not a string bean like, say, Anthony Schwartz was. So he's got a very sturdy build to him, even at 5'8". He can take a hit, and man, can he catch the ball. He can catch the ball. So we will keep an eye on that. He had very good chemistry with Shador Sanders in rookie minicamp. I didn't see much with him with Dylan Gabriel in the bits of film that were posted from rookie minicamp from the beat reporters, but he definitely had a couple of really, really nice catches from Shador Sanders. So definitely keep an eye on that as we get into voluntary mini camp, which part of it was this past weekend, and then there's like 4 parts of voluntary mini camp, and then there's mandatory mini camp coming up in a few weeks. So we'll see if we see any more flashes from Luke Floria or any of these other guys. I mean, Keyshawn Johnson has a pretty cool name because, there was that other guy named Keyshawn Johnson. Of course, his name is spelled differently. He is Kisean, where the other one was Keshawn, I believe. But yeah, so we will keep an eye on these guys. Luke Floria, Keyshawn Johnson, and Cade McDonald, and then see if either of these safeties pan out. Rayshawn Jenkins and DeMonte Kazi. But on to some sad news. Jeremiah Wusu Koromoa has been placed on the PUP reserves list, meaning he will not play this season. And that is sad. He suffered a neck injury in a game last season and had to be hospitalized following the injury and did not return last season. And it seems he is still in recovery. He is meeting with specialists and all of that fun stuff to hopefully get back out on the field. I thought it was good news when he showed up for team meetings prior to the draft, but sadly, it was not. But we have a couple of statements I'm going to read. The first one is from Andrew Barry. And he says, Jeremiah's health is of the utmost importance to us. And although he has made progress towards recovery, we've made the decision to place him on reserve PUP, which means he will not play football during the 2025 season. Jeremiah has the full support of our team, and we expect him to continue to be a part of the organization, even though he will not return to the field this year. We will not make any predictions on Jeremiah's football future at this time, but we do note that he's in good spirits and will continue to take the advice of the world-class medical experts who continue to guide his progress and recovery. And then the statement from Jeremiah himself. To the Cleveland Browns fan base and my supporters worldwide, thank you for your patience in my silence. From day one, you embraced me as more than a player, but also as a brother and a young man with purpose. I'm grateful to the Browns organization for their full support and to the world-class doctors guiding me through recovery. While I won't suit up this season, I'm focused on what I can control: my healing, my mindset, and my faith. My body may rest, but the calling never sleeps. I've given my heart to this game. I don't know what's next, but I'll continue trusting my medical team, serving the community, and backing my brothers on the field. Love always, JOK. Not the news we wanted, for sure, but hopefully they figure things out. And if he never returns to the field, hopefully he can still have a productive and pain-free, or as pain-free as possible, life going forward. And prayers up for JOK and his recovery. So the Browns, well, the whole NFL schedule release happened this past week. So what are we looking at, guys? It's a rough one. It is a rough one. So we'll start out with preseason. Friday, August 8th, the Browns will travel to Carolina to take on the Panthers at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And based on Kevin Stefanski's press conference prior to the draft, it sounds like they will have joint practices in Carolina prior to this preseason game. Then on Saturday, August 16th, the Browns will travel to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and will also hold joint practices with the Eagles. Saturday, August 23rd at 1 p.m. Eastern, the LA Rams come to Cleveland for the final preseason game of the year. And then we get into the regular season. So the Browns are starting things out at home against the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday, September 7th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Week 2 in Baltimore to take on the Ravens Sunday, September 14th, also at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You will notice a trend for all of these games, almost all of them. There's a couple that are at 4, but almost every single one of them is at 1. Then week 3, home against the Green Bay Packers, Sunday, September 21st at 1 p.m. Week 4, head on over to Detroit, Sunday, September 8th or 28th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to take on the Lions. Week 5, the Browns will be the home team in London, taking on the Minnesota Vikings on October 5th at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yuck. I don't like being up and having to pay attention that early in the morning on a Sunday, but I guess on October 5th, I don't really have a choice. And I guess I'll have to reschedule my show that week because the game will be in full force at 11 a.m. But we'll get to that when we get to Sunday, October 5th. Week 6, head on over to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers on October 12th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Week 7, home to play the Miami Dolphins on October 19th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Week 8, head on up to New England to take on the Patriots Sunday, October 26th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is my daddy's birthday. Happy birthday, Daddy. And RIP. Then week 9 is the Browns bye week. Week 10, the Browns travel to New York to take on the New York Football Jets. Week 11, home against the Baltimore Ravens. Week 12, head on over to Vegas to take on the Raiders. Week 13, home against the San Francisco 49ers. Week 14, home against the Tennessee Titans. Then we head on over to the Windy City to take on the Chicago Bears in week 15. Week 16, home against the Buffalo Bills. Week 17, home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And wrap up the season against the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. So what do I think about this schedule? It sucks. I do like that we don't have any back-to-back away games. However, we're in Detroit week 5. Week 4. London week 5. Pittsburgh week 6. So technically that's 3 away games in a row. However, we're the home team in London. But no bye week after the international travel. And in week 4, the Vikings are playing in Germany. So they will already be adjusted to European time zones when the Browns arrive in London. I don't like that. I don't like it at all. I also don't like that we have a quarterback competition coming or going on, and our bye week is not until week 9. My thinking initially, because it was announced before the full schedule release that the Browns would be playing in London week 5, was that our bye week would be week 6, and then Joe Flacco would start weeks 1 through 5 with whichever of the young quarterbacks earns the spot taking over in week 7, but that is not how the schedule panned out. So now I don't know what I expect to happen at QB. Uh my husband thinks they're going to go with a rookie, either Shador or Dylan, depending on who wins the spot. There are mixed reports out of rookie minicamp as to who was the better of the two during rookie minicamp. So depends on who you talk to or who you listen to, who performed better during rookie minicamp. The bits of tape that I saw, Dylan Gabriel looked significantly better. He has a much crisper throw, and Shadur Sanders' throws are a bit wobbly. And I noticed this when my husband was watching tape pre draft, but we thought it was just the way the balls were painted at the time because the balls that Colorado was playing with have the white stripes on the end. So it looked like we thought maybe it looked like it was wobbling because of the spinning paint, but his throws at minicamp were definitely wobbling. So I don't know. I personally would be very interested to hear what the wide receivers who are catching the balls from these two quarterbacks think. I mean, they're both very accurate quarterbacks, so it's hard to judge based on accuracy, but Dylan Gabriel has the better arm of the two, and he's more mobile. So we'll see what happens there, but I don't think Joe Flacco is going to be QB1 to start the season. I could be wrong, but given the way the schedule played out, I don't think it's going to be Joe Flacco. Might be Kenny Pickett, but I don't think it'll be Joe Flacco. Last but not least, in Browns news, Hall of Famer Charles Woodson is set to buy a 1/10 stake in the Cleveland Browns, which is an estimated $5 million investment. The agreement hinges on Woodson agreeing to remove his name, likeness, and image from his businesses that he currently operates and is a part of. So we will see if that actually pans out. But I've seen a couple of reports that say Charles Woodson, if this does go through, could have some say in operations with the Cleveland Browns. So definitely keep an eye on that. But very interesting. When I first saw it, I was like, why does Charles Woodson want to buy the Browns? But it turns out he's from Ohio, so makes sense. I did not realize that because I was just a kid when he played. But yes, he is from Fremont, Ohio, and is looking to invest in the Browns. So that's good news. Also, something I didn't put in my notes, but I found very interesting this week. Roger Goodell was in Columbus meeting with Ohio legislature regarding the new Browns stadium. So it looks like the stadium is happening whether Cleveland wants to agree to let the Browns move out of the city of Cleveland or not. But still nothing official. I believe it's still in the courts at this point, but Roger Goodell himself is petitioning the legislature to allow this to happen with the dome in Brook Park. So I have a feeling it's going to go through. And this $5 million investment from Charles Woodson will probably help with that. But let's move on to the football and wrap things up for today. Not football, football, the soccer. Let's talk some Crew. So, not the greatest week for the Crew, but also not the worst. Sean Zawatsky was named to the team of the match day starting 11 for match day 12. So, congratulations to Sean, who had the game or the match winner last Saturday. Wednesday, the Columbus Crew took on last place CF Montreal in Montreal, and it was a draw. They did not play their hardest in this one because it was a 2-match week, and they played Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. So they did not play their hardest in this one, but they managed to get the 1 point coming home from Montreal. Jason Russell Rose scored the lone goal for the Columbus Crew at the 63rd minute. Then yesterday, Hell is Real Derby in Columbus versus FC Cincinnati. The number 1 team in the East versus the number 3 team in the East. Cincinnati number 1, Columbus number 3. And it was a draw. Shocker. 1-1. Diego Rossi scored the lone goal for the Columbus Crew at the 54th minute on a penalty kick. Cincinnati had a handball inside the goal box, allowing for the penalty kick, and Diego Rossi hit it with no problem. If you ask me, I watched this entire match. Columbus had played better than Cincinnati the entire game. They just could not get their shots to go. They had probably 3 really solid shots that were just either saves by Cincinnati's goaltender or just slightly off mark, and one that missed the net it went over the crossbar, missing by less than 6 inches. It was rough. They should have got the win. They really should have, based on what I saw out on the field, but sadly they could not get that second goal into the net, so a draw it is. FC Cincinnati only had a couple of solid shots. One, of course, was the one that they scored, but Patrick Schulte had a couple of really solid saves, and other than that, the ball was on Columbus's side of the pitch most of the match. Next up for the Columbus Crew, Saturday they will take on Charlotte FC. And round 2 of Hell is Real in Cincinnati will be in July. So we look forward to that. And I have a feeling these 2 teams will be fighting for tops in the Eastern Conference. But that is going to wrap up today's show. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Thank you one and all for joining me, Jenn B, on the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Be sure to check out some NASCAR later on today, and then you could catch me tomorrow on the Extra Mile with Daryl Kinsey Jr. Check out the Guardians playing here in a little over an hour to wrap up the series with the Cincinnati Reds. And that's about it. There's some D3 baseball and softball going on too, so you can check that out as well. Baldwin Wallace and Denison going at it to stay alive in the D3 baseball tournament. And I will catch you right here, same time, same place, next week with the show of the land with Jenn B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sport. Have a blessed rest of your Sunday and a fantastic week ahead.
What?